Alright all, so the last major topic we're going to talk about today is working and uploading to a server. Okay, so if you remember way back, probably like the second class, I was explaining how the internet works, right? And so the idea of the internet is there's a bunch of computers that all talk to each other. And let's say I wanted to get a web page, like say the Chabot College homepage. There's a special computer out there called a server. It's called a server because it's like a server in a restaurant in that it serves or it gives files to people who request it. Kind of like the way a server in a restaurant gives food to people who request it. So the idea is on the server is the HTML files and also the CSS and also any related images or videos. And so let's hypothetically say this is my computer. I connect to the server using my browser and then I download all this content. Okay, so at this point we know how to write HTML, right? We've been doing that and CSS. We've been doing that for a couple of weeks. So now we're able to, we have some files. So for instance, if you download the FTP test folder that I gave you. So here I have an HTML file, and it's connected to this image here. Now this file is only available or can only be seen on my computer because I have the files, right? But I want to make it so that this web page can be seen by anybody. So I need to make this page accessible, or as we would say, make the page live. And the way that we're going to do that is to put it onto a server. Okay. Now, normally, if you want to have a server, you need to purchase server space. So you can do this through, there's plenty of companies out there like GoDaddy or Network Solutions or something like that, or Bluehost. And what you can do is you can, it's $60 a year usually or something, and you can buy storage on a server. Think of it kind of like a digital warehouse. You know how like when you buy if you have a storage unit, you have space in a warehouse that you can put your furniture and stuff like that. It's like that, but for files, essentially. So places like GoDaddy or Network Solutions, you would pay them and, you would do that sort of thing. We're going to be using a free service, a free server. It's called 00 Web Host. There's a link to it in Canvas, or you can go to 00webhost.com. It is free, which is very rare. It's not, I'm not going to lie, it's not the greatest, but sometimes you get what you pay for. They will try to upsell you, so don't fall for that. You don't need to pay any money. You should be able to complete this course without paying any money. So what you're going to do is go to the home page, and then you will have to create an account. But it's free. So you can either use, if you want to use Google or Facebook, you can do that. If you don't want to do that, you can create your own account. I'm just going to use my excuse me, I'm going to use my Google account. So once I'm logging in to 00 Web Host, it kind of looks like a little candy dish. What you're going to want to do is this is going to be empty for you the first time, and you're going to want to go to where it says create new site. I'm not going to make one because it would replace the one I have and it would remove a lot of files that I don't want to do. So I'm not going to do that, but pretty much you hit create and you just kind of, it'll ask you to create a username and a password and things like that. So you'll get something that looks like this, and this thing is going to have a lot of useful information for us. So we're going to go under where it says quick actions, and I'm going to go to the second option here that says details. Okay, so there's a couple pieces of information that we need. One is the host. The host, or sometimes referred to as an internet protocol address, sometimes referred to as a IP address, sometimes referred to as a host name. These are all the same thing. Essentially, this is the location of this particular computer on the internet. Okay, so this, depending on the service you're using, this might be a number. It might be like 416929112 or something like that. In this case, it's words. It's just files.00webhost.com. This is the host, or the IP address, or the Internet Protocol address. Next, you're going to need to have your username. I recommend you write all this stuff down on like a piece of paper because you're going to need it in a second. And then whatever your password is. Okay. So once you have this information, we can go to the next step. The next step is you're going to need a file transfer protocol program, also known as an FTP client. Okay. An FTP client's job is basically to transfer files from one computer to another computer. Okay, so what we're going to try to do is we want to upload our HTML files that we've written and our CSS files, if you have any, and any images and whatnot. We want to upload them from our computer to the server that we just set up. Okay, so to do that, I recommend using this free program. It's called FileZilla. There's a link to it in Canvas, or you can go to filezilla-project.org. This is a free file transfer protocol program. If you want to use a different one, that's fine. I don't care. It's up to you. I'm recommending this one because it's free and it's also cross-platform, so it should work for Mac, PC, and Linux. Make sure you click on the client and not the server. We don't want the server. So I don't know if it's automatically going to do it, but yeah. So you usually can figure out what your desktop operating system is. So mine is recommending Mac OS X. If you were on Windows, it would recommend Windows or an exe file. These are some other options here. So this is Windows 64-bit, Windows 32-bit, Linux. So I've already actually downloaded and installed the program. So just download it the way you would download any other program. And what I'm going to do is run the program. So this is FileZilla. Over here on the left side, this is actually my computer that I'm sitting in front of right now. This is eventually, it's called a remote site, but this is going to be my server and all the files that are on my server, which right now you're not going to see them because we haven't connected to my server yet. So to connect, you're going to have to find a way to put in the host name or the IP address, the username, and the password. So this goes back to that piece of information I was talking about here, and then whatever passwords you set up. So mine should be files.00webhost.com, and my username is my name too, and then I have a password. You should be able to hit Quick Connect. If it's not working, you might try putting a number here. The port number is like, think of a port on a computer, kind of like a port for a city. A port is for a city, like is a way for ships to come in and out. A port on a computer is kind of the same idea. It lets information come in and out. So your computer has many ports. Usually for file transferring, it's always port 21. That's just kind of the standard. So if this doesn't work, you know, if you don't necessarily need this, but if it's not working, you might want to type in 21 here before you hit Quick Connect. I'm going to hit Quick Connect, and if I did it correctly, I'm going to see my files here. So if you see anything here, that's good. That's what you want to see. So this is my server. Now to get my files to be live for this particular server, it has to be saved in a very special folder. There should be a folder called public_HTML. If you don't have that for some reason, you can always make a folder called that. Just make a new directory and name it public_HTML. But I already have one. Now mine has a lot of files in it because I've been using it, but yours will be empty most likely because you just created it. And so now what I'm going to do is basically you can just pretty much drag and drop your files. So I'm going to take this and just drag it into here. That is going to upload the files. Okay, so there's my files. Once you see them, that means the files are online. Once they're online, they are quote-unquote live. and that means they're accessible online. Okay, so I want to be able to access this file, this index.html. So I'm going to go back to my 00 web host for a second, and I'm going to go up here. So this is what we call a domain name. The domain name is your URL. So you know how normally you type in something like chabotcollege.edu or amazon.com or netflix.com or whatever, right? So this is that same idea. This is your URL. So I recommend just copying this, putting it into a tab. Oops. Now the thing about that is that would actually bring you to my main folder. That would bring you to here. But actually our file is in a subfolder. So this is kind of like that whole file management thing. So I need to say the name of my folder. So I'm going to say /test FTP, and then I can go inside of that folder and say the name of the HTML file I want to run, which is index.html. Now, if you're on Chrome, you're probably going to see this. Chrome just really doesn't like stuff from 00 web host. I have a feeling because it's free, a lot of scammers use it. So that it's not because you've done anything. It's just they don't like the website. So you can do one of two things. You can either go under details and just visit the unsafe site, or just try it in another browser. I can take this URL and I can put it inside of Firefox or something like that, and you'll notice I don't get that problem with Firefox. So either one would work. Now, make sure you've uploaded all the necessary files. If you're not seeing the picture of the puppy, it's because you didn't upload the photo of the puppy. So you have to upload all necessary files. Okay. Now let's say hypothetically I changed my files. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up this file into my code editor. I'm just going to make a change. I am adding content to this web page. Okay, so I updated this web page. Now on my local side, it's been updated. But if I go back to, this is my online version, you see it, I'm not seeing it. So if you make any changes, you're going to have to upload those changes. So what I would do is, I'm just going to go back. Sometimes this can be a little slow. Like I said, sometimes you get what you pay for. Oops. I don't know why I'm having trouble with this folder. I'm just gonna quit. Redo it. Alright, so here's my... Alright, now it's working. So what I'm going to do is just delete my old HTML file and upload the new version of it. So now that I've done that, I should see all of my new changes. Just give it a second. There you go. Okay. So this is how you make a website live. You create your HTML files. You have to have a server, which we're going to use. I have a server here with 00 web host. You need to have an FTP client. For now, I recommend just using FileZilla. It's fine. It's great. It's free. And then upload it to there, and then get your URL. You can find your URL right here in your website details. Okay, so try that out, see if you can get that to work. When we start working on your major projects, you're going to have to upload them to a server. So it's good that you get kind of comfortable with this.